Allow your eyes to stay closed and just take a moment and allow yourself to anchor within. Draw that awareness in gently. Allow the awareness to merge with your breath. Don't try to change that breath, but just allow yourself to become fully aware of the flow of the breath. Allow the awareness to follow that flow of the breath as it flows in and flows out. If the mind gets attracted by some distraction, just bring it back. Don't yell at it. Don't fight with it. Just draw it lovingly and gently back to the breath. And as you breathe, allow that awareness and the inhalations and the exhalations to anchor in a sacred energy center just below the navel called the Swadhisthana chakra. It's just about 2 inches below the belly button. And as you inhale, take your inhalations from that sacred energy center. And as you exhale, feel yourself dropping deeply into that center. Swadhisthana literally means in Sanskrit, the place of the self. So we inhale from the Swadhisthana chakra. And we exhale back into that energy center. From the next inhalation, as you inhale, allow the breath to gently rise from that Swadhisthana chakra. As you inhale, it rises upward through the solar plexus, through the rib cage and lungs, through the throat, and up to the third eye center, the Agya chakra. And then as you exhale, the breath drops back down, back all the way down to the Swadhisthana chakra, below the belly button. Allow the breath to rise and fall at your own pace. And if you can't carry it all the way to the third eye on one smooth and unbroken inhalation, don't worry. Just carry it as high as you gently and naturally can. And then let it go back, dropping back down into the Swadhisthana chakra. With the breath rising higher and higher on each inhalation, drawing that power of prana and the power of attention and intention up to the third eye. And sinking deeper and deeper into that core of the self on the exhalations. Slowly and gently, bring the hands together at chest level and rub them gently against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly and gently lower the hands and open your eyes. Welcome to Satsang. Beautiful, beautiful to be together. Starting as always with one of our questions that's come in advance, and then we'll open it up to any questions that anyone here might have. What is the most important karma? So, karma means action. Karma is an action. What we get in reaction to the actions is what we call the karmic fruit. When people talk about getting good karma or bad karma, it's not actually semantically correct. I'm not a big stickler for semantics, but what you receive is the fruit of the karma. What you do is the karma itself. So, what is the most important karma? Meaning, what is the most important action? Well, I would say the action you're doing in this exact moment. It's the only one you have any control over. All of that which I already did in my past is an arrow that's already flown from a bow. It's gone. I can't rewind history. Unfortunately, we don't get, an undo button. I used to know that I was spending way too much time at my computer when I would try to control Z something that happened in life. Because on a computer, at least on a PC computer, if you hit Control and the Z key, it'll undo whatever the last thing you did is. It doesn't matter what you did. Hit Control Z and it's undone. And I remember many years ago realizing that I was just spending way too many hours a day at the computer when I would spill a glass of water or say something that I wished I hadn't said, and instinctively my mind would say, oh, well, we'll just Control Z that. And then I had to realize and remember, you can't do that in life. Life doesn't have an undo button. You actually have to go get a sponge and clean up the water you've just spilled. You actually have to deal with, face the words that you've just spoken. And so the only karma we actually have any control over is this one right now. What I've done, I've done. arrows that have been flung from bows. That which I have yet to do, again, I haven't yet done it. There's no guarantee that a situation is going to arise in which I'll be able to do it. You may think, okay, when I wake up in the morning, first thing I'm going to do is brush my teeth. Okay, it's a reasonable thought for an action. But that's assuming that when you wake up in the morning, you've got an arm that still works, or legs that still work, or that there hasn't been an earthquake and you no longer have a bathroom, or that your water hasn't been shut off, that you've actually still got water coming out of a tap, or that something else hasn't happened in the night to render brushing your teeth no longer the most important thing first thing in that morning, because something else has become more important. So we don't know. The only action I have any control over is right here, right now. What am I doing with this very moment? And I'll give you a little key, little tip. It's actually not so much the what as it is the how. Right? The most commonly used example of that is if I say to you, well, is it good or bad if you take a knife and you thrust it into someone's chest? Well, most of you will say, well, God, it's bad, it's horrible. Wrong action. But if I tell you I'm a surgeon, and the person into whose chest I'm thrusting a knife has just had a heart attack, and if I don't give him or her an operation right now, they are going to die. Well, suddenly it's a great action. Suddenly what I'm doing is saving someone's life. So actually, in the karmic scheme of things, it's the how more than the what. The Mahabharata, the epic of the Mahabharata, especially the Bhagavad Gita, where we're taught about it, but the epic, where the action takes place, is a perfect example of the how actually being even more important than the what. That the intention behind something, the meaning behind it, the presence of the divine there behind the action, being much more important than the nitty-gritties of the actual action. So the most important karma is that which you're doing right now. But not just what the body is doing. What is the mind, the attention, the intention, the self-experience doing in this moment? I may be doing a great action. I could be making sandwiches for poor people to go take out and feed them. I could be writing a check to some wonderful nonprofit organization. But if in my mind I'm begrudging them, or I'm feeling resentful about it, or I'm feeling arrogant about it, like, aren't I so great? Why isn't the world, seeing me and recognizing all these sandwiches I'm making or all this money I'm donating? If my mind is filled with anything other than that total surrender and the joy to serve, I'll still get what we call punya, sort of karmic bonus points for having done the right thing. But not nearly the merit that you get for having done it with your mind in the right place. There's that great story of the two friends, two guys who were going to spend the evening together. And one of them says, I have a perfect idea for our evening together. Let's go to the brothel. And the other one says, God, no, of course, can't go to the brothel. That's sinful. We should go to the temple instead. The first man says, you only live once. I'm going to the brothel. And he heads off to the brothel, and the other guy, thinking, oh God, I can't believe I was ever friends with somebody like that, heads off for the temple. So the first one spends the night in the brothel doing what they do in brothels. The other one spends the night in the temple, praying. Some point later, they both die. They find themselves heading into the afterworld. The one who went to the brothel finds himself escorted into the heavenly realms. And the one who went to the temple finds himself escorted into the lower realms. And of course, he's furious. He can't believe it. Like, how is this possible? And he takes it up with God, furious. I did all the right things. This guy went to the brothel. You took him into the heavenly realms. I went to the temple. Where am I stuck now? And God said, you were in the temple. Your body was in the temple. But you spent the entire night sitting in the temple thinking about that guy in the brothel. He went to the brothel. His body was there. But he spent the entire night thinking about you in the temple. And so when we talk about karma, it's not just what are my hands doing or my legs doing, but how am I doing it and who is doing it? Who's the I I'm identified with? Who is doing it? And the only karma I have any control over is right here and right now. So you make this very moment one that is filled with awareness, with consciousness, with love, with truth, with sincerity. And then that moves into the next moment. And you fill that one with awareness and consciousness and love and truth. And that moves you into the next moment. And the next moment. And then each moment becomes your most important karma. And before you realize it, you've created your entire destiny from those actions, moment by moment. Other questions? Any questions anyone here has? Yes. And then you.
Ji, pranam. With the heartiest welcome for you personally. I am very happy to listen your satsang from yesterday. Ji, in the period of satsang or meditation or yoga, everyone feel very happy and enthusiasm and excellent thoughts, and everyone wants to do the same activities like satsang, yoga, and positive thinkings like discussion. Then it's my question, give me some spiritual process, spiritual experience, spiritual knowledge. How can I control up my technical memory in the field of spirituality for lifetime? Give me some experience. How can I, suppose this time is very selected for the satsang and meditation, so I want for lifetime, how can I select my memory for the meditation? Ji, yes.
So don't think about it like a memory. He asked, this time is so sacred and special and beautiful. But then, of course, we end up in the world. So our time of satsang, our time of prayer, our time of yoga is so powerful and beautiful, but then we end up in the world. How do we keep that spiritual memory throughout our lives? Don't think about it as a memory. Because if you remember something, it's not where you are. So if I sit here and I think, God, I remember those bagels that I ate when I was in America. Those were so good. God, yeah, why don't they have bagels in India? God, right. So, yeah, my mouth might be watering with the thought of a bagel, but I'm not actually benefiting in any way. I'm not eating the bagel, I'm not enjoying the bagel, I'm not being nourished or nurtured by the bagel in any way. All it's done is it's drawn a wedge between me and the present moment, where there isn't a bagel. Spirituality only exists in the present moment. So you don't want to turn it into a memory. Because then what it's essentially saying is there was a moment more perfect than the present one. And I need to not be in the present moment because I need to be in that past moment, which was better. Spirituality is all about the present moment. Because you cannot actually be happy or peaceful or in samadhi or in any of these states that we aspire to, yesterday or tomorrow. You can only be in it right here, right now. You might have had the experience then, but if you're not having it now, the fact that you had it then doesn't benefit you now. I can't re-experience that from yesterday just by remembering it. I have to have it right here, right now. So what we do is we use what we experience in satsang, in yoga, in meditation, not as just an activity that we enjoy and we remember, like a good meal or a nice game of tennis or a swim in a cool lake. But we actually use the time while we're here to allow ourselves to be impacted so deeply that we're able to re-access that experience, not the memory. The memory exists only in the mind. I mean, we even know which part of the brain has the memory, which part of the brain you could injure and you wouldn't even remember having been in satsang. So it's not about only remembering it in my brain. It's about an experience in my energetic being that I can actually come back to. It's like, close your eyes for a moment, everyone. Just close your eyes. Now think about someone you love very deeply in the world. Could be romantic love, could be a family member, could be a guru, could be anyone, could be a best friend, it doesn't matter who it is. But just think of someone you love deeply and fully. And just think about them for a few moments. Okay, open your eyes. How does it feel to think about them? In the body. Use words. I see people nodding, but use words. How does it feel?
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay, how else? Nice. Warm. Sweet. It's an experience of warmth, of sweetness, of awesomeness, of niceness, of all of that love is about. Now, it's not a memory. Even if that person that you're thinking of is no longer in their body or not with you in the moment, when you think about them, it's not about a memory of the brain. It's an experience you're having in the energy of the body. And that is what gives you that experience, that feeling. Because you're back there. You love them in this moment, whether they are here with you or not. You are loving them in this moment. In the same way, what you need to do is be able to have that experience of connection, of anchoring, of truth. I mean, that's what we experience here. It's not my words. If I find you all in your rooms or where you're staying or at dinner a few hours from now and I say, quick quiz, what did I say? Now, some of you may remember a few words. But if you're like most of us, the majority of the actual content, the actual words, is not going to stay with you very long. But the felt sense experience will. So if I get you and I say, quick, what did I say? Give me the questions. What were the questions? What were the answers? You'd probably have a really hard time. I know I always have a hard time. People will ask me, what happened in satsang? And I don't remember. But the feeling, how was satsang? We feel it again. And so what you need to do is in your life, wherever you are, allow yourself to reconnect with that feeling that you experience in meditation, in yoga, in satsang, that experience of being connected. Rather than just trying to use the brain to remember it. And the best way to do that is while you're here and while you're meditating, while you're doing yoga. Really allow yourself to be fully aware of what it feels like. Which is why we have to be mindful. Because if the mind isn't there, we don't even know what it feels like. We're doing Trikonasana, the legs are getting stretched, but we're not even there. You're sitting in satsang, but the mind isn't here, you're not here. You're meditating, but you're sitting here while you're making a shopping list. You're not there. So first you have to actually be there while it's happening. Allow yourself to really have the experience while it's happening. And then re-tap into that awareness. Because you can have that anywhere. You can close your eyes for a moment and be in meditation, in yoga, in satsang, just like you can close your eyes and be in love, whether the loved one is there or not. So let it be more about the experience than about the memory. Great. You had a question. Or he had a question, sorry, yes.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for sharing satsang with us. I have a question. You were speaking in Aarti about letting go. So you spoke about letting go. And in my experience, letting go has come in two ways. There's the first way, which is kind of trying to let go. Mm-hmm. Trying to let go. But then there's been another experience of committing to sadhana, committing to freedom, liberation, divinity. And whatever I've been trying to let go lets go go of me. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Let
of
go
course,
me.
of
So
course.
there's a paradox to that. By committing to love and a sadhana, whatever I'm trying to let goes of me. So I wonder if you could speak more to that or expound on that and how we let go.
Excuse me, beautiful. Letting something let go of you instead of forcing it away. It's beautiful. And you're absolutely right, it works like that. I frequently speak about non-attachment or detachment as not something that we're supposed to do by literally pushing something away, but rather we're supposed to do it by reattaching ourselves to the divine, such that that which we're attached to, the little things, automatically dissipate. There are, however, sometimes things that we actually have to actively let go of. There are things that keep us from being able to live in love. And I find that the more that we consciously let go, not violently, it's not the rip off a Band-Aid sort of shock experience, but it's an offering. It's an offering of that within us which is holding us back. That the more you do that, the more you are telling your own mind, I want to be free of that. Which means the more that the mind tries to bring that up, there's already an awareness that says, I let that go. I gave that to Ganga today. And so to be able to sit at the Havan ceremony, at the fire ceremony, and as you offer into the fire to literally, and it's not always something specific. A lot of times on a personal level, it's just ego, ignorance. So it's not about forcibly trying to get the brain to wrap itself around something. Yeah, sometimes something is there and you don't have to wrap yourself around it. It's right there. And you offer it. You just let it go. Could be something little, could be something that feels big, but whatever it is, it's there in the center of your mind, right? And you don't want it there. It's like if I say to you, okay, close your eyes. We're going to meditate. And whatever you do in this sacred, holy meditation, just don't think about pink elephants. Okay? Whatever you do, no pink elephants. Okay? Meditate on whatever feels right, but just no pink elephants. Remember, no pink elephants. Okay. Open your eyes. What do you think about? Right? Now, sadly, that's how the mind works. And so there are times when, no matter how much you want to be free of something, it's right there. So you just offer it. Is there a pink elephant in your mind today? No problem. Don't keep telling yourself not to think about it, because that just makes it worse. Just offer it. Just offer it. Has it arisen again? No problem. Offer it again. Offer it again. But at the time when there isn't something specific, you don't want to go in search of that pink elephant. But what I know, again, on a personal level is, I know there's things that keep me from living 24/7 as the absolute fullest embodiment of just the divine flow. I'm not free of ego, free of false identity, free of being impacted by the situation around me. I'm a lot better than I used to be. But it's still there. And so you just offer it. Ego. Ego. Desire. False identification. But then there are times when there's really something that keeps us from living as the divine of who we are. Anger, grudges. I mean, a lot of us are moving through our lives, I know I was, with really specific things. Not just a random pink elephant, or not just a sort of amorphous sense of ego, but really something very specific that keeps us from really living in love, that keeps us from doing what I call a trust fall into the universe. And sadly, a lot of us hold that as this identification. This is who I am. We identify as it, we judge ourselves based on it, we make life choices based on it. And the banks of Ganga is the place. I mean, anywhere is the place, wherever you are, but this is a very auspicious place, a very energetically powerful place to let go of all of that. It's a place of freedom. And so if you find yourself here and you find yourself with something that is keeping you back, whether it's specific, something that you feel is sort of strangling you, keeping you in its grip, or whether it's just a kind of amorphous, low-grade sense of, yeah, I've got a little too much ego, or yeah, I've got a little too much fear, or yeah, I live a little too much in the past. Whatever it may be, offer it to Ganga. And, as you said so beautifully, commit yourself to love, commit yourself to truth. It will absolutely automatically dissipate and fizzle out. But if you can do some conscious offering, it's really powerful. And from my side, I've seen it sort of allows the universe to know you're serious about this being free thing. That you really are ready to let go of that which has got you stuck. And you're in the right place. Beautiful. Are you here with us tomorrow? आप कल भी है अपने साथ? Will you be with us tomorrow evening? Wonderful. So we'll start tomorrow evening with your question. आपका सबसे पहले लेंगे कल. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening. I look so forward to being together with you all tomorrow. And so much love. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful evening.